Hello, my name is Whitney McMahon, and today I'm going to share with you my classroom observation report. For this report, I conducted a detailed analysis and I focused my observation around the use of the highly effective questioning discourse strategy, also known as HEQ. Today I'm going to talk about that discourse strategy, and I'm going to also talk about my driving question, the method I used, and then I'm going to share the results and the analysis with you as well. Within the highly effective questioning discourse strategy, the student response plays a critical part. As Ivan Handel points out in his article, Insufficient Questioning, students have to feel comfortable in the classroom environment and understand that their response is necessary for engagement. Once a student realizes that the teacher is going to continue to ask for a response, the student then realizes that it's easier to go ahead and answer on the first try, even if they're unsure of the answer. So I'm curious, in order to foster student discourse in the classroom, on average, how many times does the teacher ask a question before the student responds? To understand how critical student response is within the HEQ strategy, I will count how many times the teacher asks a question. I will also count the number of times the teacher has to repeat, reframe, or uses redirection for the same question before receiving student response. And then I'm also going to count how many times that the teacher is unable to lead the student to a response. I'm going to then take the average of these data points and analyze how effective HEQ is at fostering student discourse in the classroom. All right, so here is the data that I found in my 13-minute observation I did for a 9th grade biology class. And I observed that the teacher asked a total of 96 questions during this time. Out of those 96 questions, all 96 received an answer. That is 100% student participation. That's amazing. And so out of those 96 questions, 70 questions only had to be asked one time. 7 questions had to be asked twice before the student fully responded. And 1 question had to be asked 3 times. 1 question was asked and redirected a total of 4 times, and another one was done 5 times. It was re-asked and redirected. So what does all of this mean? Out of that 100% participation, 80% of the questions received full student participation after only being asked 1 time, and the other 20% of the questions were either repeated or redirected before receiving the full student participation. The teacher was able to effectively produce student responses using the HEQ discourse strategy. The data shows that students in this class feel comfortable responding to the HEQ discourse strategy because all 100% of those questions were answered. Students are aware that the teacher will continue to reframe questions and will not leave any questions unanswered. Therefore, it is easier for that student to go ahead and participate and answer, and this is what leads to that rich discourse in the classroom. So I did anticipate student participation in this HEQ strategy because without it, there would be no discourse. However, I was definitely not expecting 100% of the questions being answered, and within that, those 80% being answered on the first try. This shows how aware of the expectations these students are within this HEQ strategy, and it is a very strong one to utilize in the classroom. For me, as a future teacher, I cannot wait to try this HEQ strategy in my classroom, and I also encourage others to try it as well. Okay, thank you so much for joining me today. This concludes my presentation over the highly effective questioning strategy discourse method, and thank you for joining me, and be well. Thanks.